Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Kate Evans. She is of selflesscoach.com, and her tagline is, if you've got kids in the room, you might want to cover their ears because we're going to use some profanity here. Get over your shit so you can get rid of your shit. Her purpose is to help you overcome your mental and emotional barriers to decluttering so you can create a life and home you love. Welcome to the show, Kate. I'm so happy that you've joined us today.
Thank you so much for having me here. This is, as I was kind of telling you before we started recording, this is the most fun in my day, getting to have a conversation, talking about the thing that I'm the most passionate about and getting to enjoy another human being.
I love it. So let's talk about decluttering your shit.
All right, sounds good.
How'd you get started?
So I'm also a psychologist, which is what really lends itself to the work that I do. So I've been working in psychology for about 20 years. I also happen to own a private practice. So just as I was going along prior to ever opening a coaching business, in 2018, after having done a ton of my own mental and emotional work, physical work, spiritual work, actually just before I started yoga teacher training, so it was a really interesting year for me, I decluttered my entire home. And I've got a 14 square foot house, 2 floors, and I did that in about 2.5 months. And I did not do the garage, so don't include the garage in that estimation. And
1,400 square foot?
1,400. What did I say?
14.
14.
I was thinking
yes.
Tiny home, and I'm like,
itty tiny home. Yes, 14.
That's really small.
Yeah. Very, very teeny. So I always like to just give those dimensions just to give people kind of a picture of what I did and what time. I also like to say that I don't have children, so that does mean that when I was not working, I had the time to just do work on my home each day. And that was exactly what I did. Was I got into this thing and gave myself 3 months, and at 2.5 months just kind of petered out, which is why the garage didn't get done that year. But when I started doing it, it was the first thing I ever did was a drawer of tank tops. And I decluttered about half of them. Then I folded them up Marie Kondo file folding style, put them back in, and went, oh my goodness, this is awesome. I love it. I can see everything. And I had heard of this file folding thing prior to when I did it. I thought there's no way I would ever maintain that. That's ridiculous. Why would I ever try that? These are called limiting beliefs, people. And I was full of them. And I can tell you that since 2018, it was about maybe February of 2018, I have maintained that file folding system in my drawers, and eventually it bled over into my husband's drawers. No problem. So anywho, so I just enjoyed that so much and got into decluttering the rest of the house. And then there was this moment where it was after dinner and I had cleaned up the kitchen and it hadn't taken very long. The dishes were in the dishwasher, and you have to understand, prior to the decluttering, there were always dishes in my sink, even if there were dishes in the dishwasher. Like, it was just science experiment time. So I stepped back after having cleaned. I've got these tidy open counters, and everything's just done. And it hits me that this is self-care. Taking care of my home is taking care of myself, and I feel so good, and I want everyone to feel this good, so I must put this onto the world. I have to do this work. And so at the time, I hadn't officially started the separate business as Soulful Space. And so in my therapy practice, all my therapy clients started getting decluttering coaching, whether they wanted it or not. And many of them have made amazing changes in their lives as they've actually gotten into releasing the things that don't serve them, the physical items, and it's helped them release the mental and emotional things that don't serve them.
I've got like 900 thoughts going through my head at this moment.
I know that feeling. Mm-hmm.
I moved from a 4,500 square foot house into a 1,600 square foot house,
Wow.
which included the basement. So about the same size house.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get the feeling of, and I had 3 kids. So,
Mm-hmm.
and a husband and a father-in-law who lived with us. We all moved into this small space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cathartic to just go through your crap and get rid of it. If you're
Yeah.
not using it, it's just stuff you're hauling around. And
Mm-hmm.
it's stuff in a small space. If you have a lot of stuff, it really can just overwhelm you. And you don't even realize how much it's overwhelming you. When you can't, it annoys me when I go into a room and my husband has left stuff that doesn't belong there out. It's
Yeah.
like, just put it away. It has a spot. It's like 3 feet from where you're sitting. Put it there,
Uh-huh.
because I want that feeling like
Mhm.
it's everything is organized. When your space is organized, your brain can be organized.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
And I love Marie Kondo too. And I too fold my stuff very meticulously, and I'm very grateful for the things that I have. And I'll tell you a story. Like last weekend, my daughter, she's moved back home, and we now live in about 1,400 square feet. Also, our house is small, and I love it. It takes me
Yeah.
like an hour to really deep clean.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's one of the benefits of staying organized is it doesn't take you forever.
Well, and that's there's a study out there that identified that if you declutter your home, you reduce your cleaning time up to 40%.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe
that's,
it.
yeah.
This is coming from a former cleaning lady. I used to clean other
Oh,
people's
yeah.
houses for a living. And
Uh-huh.
it's very cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a meditation to clean. But if you're having to like organize at the same time, it can become overwhelming, and then you just don't clean, and then you're living in chaos,
Yeah.
and it's unhealthy, honestly.
Well, and you've used the word overwhelmed a couple of times, and that really is overwhelmed and stuck are the top words that my clients use when they come to me. And they don't know how to even start because they're
Yeah.
so overwhelmed. This visual chaos creates this mental and emotional chaos, and then they want to start in the exact right place, which there isn't an exact right place necessarily. And so then they get stuck by that, which is a perfectionism thing. And so this overwhelm just creates this inability to do anything. And to be able to live in a space that is where you can freely walk through rooms, no fear of stubbing toes on anything, no, there isn't every flat surface is not a magnet for random piles of things. There isn't stuff stacked on every stair going from one floor to the next. Is when you have a home where it is you only own what you love and what you use, then you can organize it into everything has a place. So putting everything away after you use it is very easy because we don't like lots of steps generally to putting stuff away. So if I know this goes here, then poof, I can put it there. Yes, there are those who might be prone to periodically leaving something out on a counter 3 feet from where its home is, but it still makes the eventual putting away of the thing a lot easier. But it's that letting go of that, or kind of sending that overwhelm away so that you've got this space that you can breathe in, that the energy is flowing in. Is you go into feng shui, one of the primary things in feng shui is you have to have a decluttered home. You just gotta, or else all the energy is stuck. And that's going to make it so that your prosperity is stuck, your relationships are stuck, your job is stuck, your luck, whatever the heck it might be. So yes, the having that space just makes you feel like you're actually in control of your life instead of all that stuff being in control of you.
It and it really does take on a physical feeling of being trapped,
Yeah, trapped.
and
Yeah.
where you can't move around. It doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to be messy necessarily. I mean, you can have a home that's really cluttered,
Mm-hmm.
that it's just stuff. It's bric-a-brac, my mom used to call it.
Yeah.
My mom used to have this rule: 3 things on any surface, no more than 3.
Ah, interesting.
She had so many things that she used to say and that have come back to me in my old age. And there's like so much wisdom there, Mom. So much wisdom.
Uh-huh. I love the 3 thing rule. I mean, that would, because rules are really nice, is they give you something to lean on, something you to fall back on when that overwhelm hits you. The house has gotten chaotic, the kids are doing things, it's been a holiday, it's whatever it might be, to fall back to, okay, we only have, say, 3 items per surface. Well, if we've got 20 here, that means we've got 17 things we have to rehome. Where do they live? There are so many other little rules that I love, like the 1 in, 1 out rule. So it's, if you're going to buy something, you got to think about what's going to leave the house. So that's a great way to make sure that you never increase the volume of the stuff in your home. Just little rules like that are just so comforting when your brain feels, when you're in decision fatigue. And let's just throw out there that people, women especially, decision fatigue is a huge one. And if you've got some rules to fall back on, it can kind of help make that a little less strenuous.
And let's talk about boundaries for a minute,
Sure.
because I just experienced this yesterday. I
Mm.
have an 87-year-old dad who's he's jettisoning his shit. That's really what he's doing. So I'm talking to him yesterday and he's like, I have this workbench. It's a beautiful workbench, and he's got a studio, and he's a wood carver, and he's really produced some beautiful things.
Mhm.
But there's all his artwork, and there now he's trying to get rid of his workbench and his tools. And I'm like, I don't have room for it. I am not a woodworker. I'm at this point in my life probably never going to be a woodworker. I've
Yeah,
got
sure.
other things I'm more interested in. Um, and my kids, none of my kids, and I have 5 of them, are really interested in that.
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't, you just got to say no. At some point, you just got to say no. I'm sorry. Maybe you can sell it. Maybe you can give it to the art guild, you know, in your community. I gift it to somebody who's an inspired, somebody that's coming up.
Mhm.
Who knows? You could, be helping the next great wood carver out there. But you have to be able to say no. And the holidays, this will be after the holidays when
Mhm.
other people actually hear this, but the holidays are coming up, and putting boundaries around, people giving you shit
Yeah.
because they want to give you stuff. And I don't have any more room on my walls for pictures. Like there's zero room for any more artwork on my walls.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It won't fit. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. And I can't have any more plants because no more room for plants either. And I have a lot of plants,
Hmm.
but you just reach a point where I'm sorry, no more. I don't need any more clothes. I have like the set things that I wear, and I don't wear other stuff. So don't need that.
Yeah.
Just spend time with me. That's really all I want for the holidays, because if you're going to give me stuff, it's it's just going to be overwhelm. I have everything I need.
Well, it's that word no is the boundary, and it is a word that, especially as women, we've been kind of conditioned in our culture to not use. We're supposed to say yes, we're supposed to be pleasing, we're supposed to, all these things. And the word no is such a wonderful word. I love it. 2-year-olds figure it out, and they like figure out, aha, this word gives me control over my world. I'm going to say no, I don't want to put my shoes on, which is, every mother knows that's a frustrating morning. But no is such an amazing word, and we feel like we're being mean when we say no sometimes, or rude when we say no. And the reality is all you're doing is being honest and setting a boundary. Now, if you say it in a really nasty way, then yes, now you're being mean and rude, but you can just say, no, thank you. Like, that is a beautiful workbench. But I have no use for it. I have no room for it. It needs to go someplace where people are going to use it. So no, it's not coming to my house, but I'll help you figure out for it to go. My mom has a grand piano that years ago, she was kind of upset with me when I said, I'm never going to want that piano, just so you know. Because her idea was that it would be an inherited thing for me. And she looked at my house and said, you don't have a big enough house for this piano. You need to get a bigger house. Now, she was joking, but maybe not joking,
But
because
not
she
really.
really, yeah, exactly. And so she was unhappy about it. And she is beautifully grown as she's aged, and she actually just turned 80. And as it came to the realization, she doesn't even want it. So she's like, I get it, you don't want it. And as I've done this decluttering, she's tried not to, the decluttering work, she's tried not to take it personally when I talk about stuff. But no, I don't want the piano. But there are gifts that people give you. I once actually, it was my birthday, we're out to lunch with my father-in-law for my birthday, and he brings a gift. It was one of the last times he gave me a physical gift. So well-meaning, so well-meaning. He had gone and bought $100 pair of high heels. Now, I love some high heels. And to someone else, I could absolutely see why this style would have been something he would think, Kate would like that. And it was so, so well-meaning. And I open it at the restaurant, I look at them and I go, oof. And I know I'm never going to wear these. And as kindly, gently, and appreciatively as I could, I told him, I'm not going to wear these. So it would be better if you return them, or I could exchange them or do something, whatever. And I didn't know at the time how much money he had spent on them. And when I found out, I was like, oh, gracious, why did you spend that much money? But I was very proud of myself in that moment for not just taking something and actually saying, because what I did in that moment was I set a boundary that then what moved forward into future gift giving from him. He figured out that it would be better to give me things like experiences, like a dinner, or he would give us
Yeah.
gift cards to the movies or something like that. so being able to say no, or to be gracious and kind about it, but to be able to say, no, your clutter doesn't need to be my clutter now, is really important. And yeah, whether it's the holidays or it's birthdays or anything, when people are giving you things, there might be things that people give you you really don't want. You are not obligated to keep that stuff. I promise.
Yeah. And but it's the having to like take your time to move it along. I mean, you could have accepted those shoes and gone back and exchanged them yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just like you're giving me a gift that's causing me to have to do more work.
Right.
Which
Right.
is like
So the boundary made it so
not,
that it was like, okay, like there were so many benefits to the boundary.
yeah.
So many. It was, again, and I can't remember which birthday that was, if it was before or after I decluttered my home, actually. So, oh well.
It is so empowering to declutter your home.
Mhm.
And you have to do it frequently. You have to stay on top of it because it'll sneak up on you again. And
Oh, it's an ongoing project. I was recently, I did a guest starring spot in someone else's workshop, and they asked me for a homework assignment. And the homework assignment that I give is get rid of 27 items. Now, if you really want to take this thing and really run with it for 7 days, get rid of 27 items and see what happens. Now, if you've got excess in your home, this is not difficult. It can sound difficult, but it's not. But I told them, because I was going to be meeting with them again the next week, I said, I will get rid of 27 items as well. So this is, my thing I'm going to do with you, because I don't ask people to do things I wouldn't be willing to do myself. Well, I got a house that's filled with things I love and that I use. And it was hard for me to come up with those 27 items, but I came up with them. And a couple of weeks later, I came up with a ton more, because now I was like taking a more critical eye to my nicely decluttered home. And gosh, stuff does sneak up on you.
the thing that you know you're going to use and you're going to need, like,
Or I'm gonna sell this stuff. That was one of the things. I had a bin of things that had been sitting there for a year. I was gonna make some money to, help pay for some vacation stuff. I've got some jewelry that I'm looking on eBay. People are spending money on this stuff. I've got some workout clothes that are in really great condition. People would pay and it just sat there and sat there and sat there. And it was actually a conversation I had with, it's actually somebody who had commented on one of my posts on social media, and we had a little conversation back and forth. And I went, "Holy heck! Like, I am just holding on to this stuff, and I'm never going to do anything with it. I'm so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. That's just one more unfinished project." And so that stuff all actually left my house 2 days ago. Very proud of myself again.
I'm proud of you too. It's hard. It's hard to let go of things, especially when we attach memories to them.
Mhm.
And then they're like, oh, I can't let go of that.
The sentiment.
Yes.
If I let go of this, then the memory is gone, or my connection to the person, or my connection to the experience, like vacation, souvenirs, that sort of stuff. But if you're not displaying something, which is loving and using, displaying is loving and using. If
Mhm.
it is just in a box in your attic, in your garage, in your basement, in your storage shed, under your bed, and it's just there, you're not honoring that item. And so you're going to have a real hard time convincing me that you love it, because you're clearly not using it. So you can't even argue that. I had a client just this week who, she had some stained glass windows that had been under her bed for, gosh, I want to say like 15 years. She had used them in a previous house that she had lived in. No, maybe it's not 15 years. Maybe it's only 12. It doesn't matter.
Still a lot of years.
It's still a lot of years, but the conversation was, these are beautiful. You did use them at one time, which is awesome, but you haven't even thought about them in how many years. So all they're doing is blocking the energy under your bed. can we do something else with them? And she pulled them out from underneath her bed, which she also dealt with a bunch of dust bunnies, which she wasn't thrilled with. So she's now vowing to keep it clear under there. And she's let go of the stained glass and feels lighter for having let go of it. Because this sentiment of it had been in this house that she had shared with her sister, and then she moved into a house with her husband, and it was this idea of this past time in her life. Well, she's living here right now in this house with her husband and her kid and her life, and that stained glass just didn't have any place in her home, no matter how beautiful it was.
And the idea that, it's perfect for someone else, though.
Yes,
You
someone
know,
else
someone,
will have so much joy.
I was looking in my closet. I have a bunch of hats, winter hats.
Mhm.
I don't really wear winter hats these days. And I don't wear them in the winter either, but I've made a bunch of them. I was
Mhm.
thinking, I have one in particular. I think it's so cute, and I've worn it a couple of times, but I just don't wear it because I don't know why. I have a lot of
Mhm.
them, and can only wear one hat really.
Yeah.
Even if you go out every single day in the wintertime, you're only wearing the one hat that you're really attached to.
Right.
And I'm thinking, maybe I'll give those away as gifts this year
Oh,
because they're nice. And a lot of them I've made myself. They're handmade and they're really pretty. Um, there's no shame in giving away things that have value and that you love, instead of going out and buying some cheap crap for other people,
yeah.
to those that you do love that could use them.
It's such a beautiful idea, and especially the fact that you've made some of them. I mean, that is, what a wonderful gift to give. And as long as you don't have any attachment to the idea that they must love them and use them themselves, it's like I'm giving this gift freely.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion when you give something away, whether
Yeah,
you're moving and you're selling your house or anything else, you cease to have any control over what happens to that item. Whether
perfect.
they love it, whether they hate it, it's not your problem. It's
Mhm.
theirs. You
And
know?
and people get so confused about that one, because some people continue to have an attachment to, I gave you this, why is it not displayed prominently even if you hate it? um but honestly, more than that is the interpretation that people have, that you gave me this, so now you feel that I should wear it, use it, want it, and now I'm being a bad friend, daughter, husband, whatever it might be, because I don't want this thing. And then you'll keep the gift, and then it just becomes clutter. So understanding that the exchange of somebody, I have given you something, I have no ownership of it any longer. You have received something, it is now yours, it is your own, you own it, it is yours to figure out what you want to do with it. And if everybody can kind of understand that, like, concept of giving and gifting, make things a lot easier, a lot less.
Yeah. And there's no shame in going to someone and saying, hey, what do you want for your birthday? Or what do you want for Christmas? And get them that. Ask them to go on Amazon and make a list, and I'll pick
Absolutely.
something out of it. But I want to get you something that you want and you want to use. I don't want to buy you stuff that
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing at.
Yeah.
It has given me so much stress over the years trying to, mind read people about what they're going to want. Uh,
Ask
I'm
them.
just like, what do you want? And I'm going to get you that. You're not
Right.
going to be surprised. I don't care.
Yeah, and it's, if you happen to like come across something that's like, oh, reminds me of this person, this is a great gift, which is the like idea of, for the holidays, perhaps, even buying gifts ahead of time, like as throughout the year you see things that really remind you of that person. But in the crunch of, I'm want to gift things because I find joy in giving to other people. The asking, what do you want? The Amazon wish list is so fantastic for that. It really does make that like, here, share this list. Here are things that I actually want. There is, was it kind, oh, sokindregistry.org is, it's a website where you can create a registry for yourself that other people can obviously go into, where you can put things in there like experiences that you want to have, or gift cards that you would like to get, or we're wanting X amount of money to be able to go on our honeymoon, or they give really good like examples of things that you can put in this registry, but it's all things that are not things necessarily. And I really love this idea.
I love that idea too. I was writing it down.
Great. Great.
Gonna definitely visit it. I've reached the point in my life, and I think more and more people are coming to this point too, where we've just gotten in the habit of, we have so much shit. It accumulates. People give us stuff, we feel guilty, so we take it, and then it's just there. And our taste in clothing changes, and we don't go through our wardrobe, so you have like tons of stuff in closets that you'll never wear. And it, you're not going to lose that 10 pounds. Get over it. Buy clothes that fit.
Oh my gosh, I just packed for a trip, and I have gained weight. I'm getting real close to 50. I'm months away from it, and my waist
It
is
happens.
expanding. And so anyways, so I was packing for this trip, and I'm going through the stuff in my closet. Now I have a fairly minimal wardrobe. That was one of the things that came out of my decluttering, was not having a ton of clothes, so that everything I own is something I love and that I use. Well, packing helped me identify there were some things in that closet that I really like and want to use, but they make me feel bad about myself because like buttons on shorts don't connect to one another, or dresses barely fit over my shoulders, or whatever it was. And so I just gave myself permission to let go of a whole bunch of clothes that actually, if I hadn't gone through the packing process, it would have been a while before I realized that stuff was in my closet, in my drawers, draining my energy. So I'm grateful to have gone through the process of this packing so that I could get this stuff out of there, because maybe I will lose that 10 pounds. Maybe I won't. If I do, there's still clothing in the world. And
yeah, and it's an opportunity to go buy something new. I don't have to wear the old stuff.
Exactly. So it's the clothing thing is a really big issue that comes up with clients over and over and over again, because we do connect so much of our sense of value about ourselves with our dress size, pants size, blouse size, which is just, it doesn't, your value was set the second you came into this world. It had never changed, and it is exactly the same as other people's. So, and theirs hasn't changed either. What you wear, what your size is, does not change your value. I want everyone to just hear that and absorb it, and maybe perhaps write it down to come back to it later. But your weight is going to move around. If you have a closet that is for the you that is 10 pounds heavier, and the you that is this size, and the you that is 10 pounds lighter, you now have a wardrobe that is at least 3 times bigger than what you're going to use, which means you're going to have a really hard time even finding the clothes that do fit you and that you like and that you feel good in. When you pare down your clothes to the things that when you put them on your body, you feel good in them. When you do that, it is so easy to get dressed. And if that means you have 5 shirts and 2 pairs of jeans and, one skirt, fine. Let's start from there. And now when you buy something, you know the criteria. It has to feel good on your body. And when you walk around in it, you feel good. I do this thing where if I've got a question about an item, it still fits and everything. I'm like, I want to like this. Why do I keep not reaching for it? I'll wear it one last time throughout an entire day. And if my opinion changes and because I feel really good in this item because I'm on camera all day because my coaching is all virtual. So I'm staring at myself all day. And there's when you go into the bathroom, you're looking at yourself in the mirror when you're washing your hands and everything. If my opinion changes, all right, great. This thing is, okay. But I don't know that I've ever actually changed my opinion about something. It's only been a confirmation for me that our relationship is done. It has been beautiful. Thank you so much for your service. You are now moving on to greener pastures.
Yeah. I live in overalls.
I
I
love
have
it.
like 5 or 6 pair of these, and I wear them every day during the winter, all fall, all winter, and into the spring. I wear shorts in the summertime, and I put them away in the winter. And last year I couldn't find my shorts. We go to Arizona in March for my dad's birthday. So it's still cold here, and I was like looking for them. I finally found them the other day when I was moving stuff from this other room upstairs and realizing that I need to go through all of that junk in those drawers, and a lot of it needs to go away because I was really happy when I only had like a few things in the drawers upstairs. I think after this conversation, I'm motivated to go through them and like,
oh, good.
Just like, because I feel them when I go into the room. I feel the presence of these things that aren't really, I don't want them.
Right.
They're not,
Exactly.
they're not part of who I am anymore. And I'll never wear them. They make me feel bad when I wear them. So why would I wear them?
And so their presence is just draining your energy. We want things that add to our energy, not take from it. I mean, the world and our lives and everything is so busy and so energy draining as it is. We want to live in houses that when we step into them, we feel good, calm, peaceful, lighter. You come up with whatever adjective works for you. We want to live in homes that do not drain our energy more, but are places where we can recoup our energy. And a cluttered home just isn't a place that's going to happen. You can you can still have a lot of stuff and not be cluttered. It's just about, are you using it? Are you displaying it and all that sort of stuff? And so to be able to say, I know that the things in this house are not draining my energy, that when I come home, I feel good walking in. It's such a gift. It is such a gift to give yourself, and you deserve to live in a home that doesn't make you want to scream.
Yeah. And it's really easy to get there, right? Just over the years, if you don't move very often, and we generally move every 4 or 5 years, I'm hoping to not move again, but it's a great opportunity when you do move to jettison stuff you're not using. Otherwise, you're going to have to move it.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful opportunity.
You haul it around a few times and you're like, nah, I don't need that. My husband, bless his soul, he's a minimalist. I may complain about him leaving stuff out, but he doesn't have a lot of stuff to begin with. So it's not like it's terrible. And he'll periodically go through and throw things out. Like, where was that thing? He's like,
no.
I threw it out. Now he's like, I don't know. I didn't throw it out. I promise. It's like, I know darn good and well he did.
I got in trouble because I got rid of our slap chop. The thing was just silly. Like, I can chop an onion way better than that thing. It wasn't sharp. So I got rid of it. And my husband, who is the does most of the cooking in our house, like a year later, said, where's the slap chop? But I can't find it. He's pawned through everything. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Because my thing is not to ever get rid of his stuff. And that was one item that I kind of knew it was going to come back and bite me in the ass. And it did. And I had to like confess my sin of getting rid of it. But, so now I have to chop all onions, which
well,
I'm okay with.
I'm the same way. We don't even have a dishwasher. I don't have a microwave. I don't have a dishwasher.
Mhm.
I cook stuff on the stove the old-fashioned way, and we wash our dishes every night
Mhm.
and put them away. I don't like people leaving dishes in my sink. I didn't have a dishwasher most of the time my younger kids were growing up. So they were trained. We don't leave dishes in the sink, or that's a good way to get mom to lose her mind.
Nice.
I may be your mother, but I'm not your maid. So,
Uh-huh.
And they were homeschooled, so they were home all the time. There's no reason
Yeah.
why they can't be doing the dishes as we're going along. And I did do a lot of the dishes because I was concerned about, people getting sick, because kids aren't all that
Right.
great about,
Sure.
you know,
Mhm.
really cleaning things. I don't let my husband wash the dishes for the same reason. They'll volunteer every once in a while, but it's like, you take the trash out, honey. That's great. I love it. And
Mhm.
you keep the car full of gas. Awesome. You take care of the garage. You keep it neat and tidy out there. I like that. I'll do the dishes. Don't worry.
It's wonderful to have that division actually within the home, and to have that understanding of like, this is the thing that's really important to me, that if you do it, you're not going to do it the way that's going to make me really happy. So I'm just going to take ownership of this. And I'm not going to then be pissed off at you because you don't do this. I'm just saying, this is my thing. I'm going to do this. And that's
Yeah.
something I talk with clients about a lot, is having that division of labor. If you're going to be angry with your partner because they haven't done this thing that you want them to do, that doesn't work out very well. If you want this thing, like I want the dishes all out of the sink and in the dishwasher. I do have my dishwasher. I love it. I grew up with no dishwasher. I was the dishwasher. I want that is important to me. It's not that it's not important to my husband. He quite enjoys the tidy kitchen. It's just that he puts his dishes in the sink. Well, I could get really angry with him. I know many partners who have gotten angry with their spouses for having done the same thing. And I say, yeah, but the thing is that it's important to me to do this. And so I just take ownership of it, and there's no need for a sense of resentment or anger, and it makes things much easier. Now, he does do a lot of the cooking, so me cleaning up actually makes a ton of sense. He also takes the garbage out, which I very much appreciate, because I don't want to do that. There's
Mhm.
that division. So these are all the systems. And I mean, gosh, we haven't even touched on systems, but is once you declutter, you can organize and create systems. And those systems are oftentimes those systems between you and your partner too, and with your kids and everybody on board as to how things are going to operate in this house. And maybe that involves lots of labels too, so that everybody knows where things go.
Yeah. Those things they're really key to happiness. You know,
Happiness. Absolutely. Yes.
clutter dampens your ability to experience really good joy in day-to-day living, because it's just like hanging over you. So I know you offer a ditch your shit. Oh, you were right. It's hard to say that.
It's a tongue twister. Mhm.
A ditch your shit session.
Yes. I offer a free 45-minute intro to coaching session that I call a ditch your shit intro session. It's those S sounds together are not working. But I offer that to anyone who is curious about decluttering coaching, because it's kind of a thing that people go, oh gosh, I should be able to do this myself. I shouldn't need help. having the opportunity to have a session, a free session with me, can give you some clarity about what you got going on in your house. You learn about the work that I do, and you always walk away with at least the beginning of a plan that you can take action on, whether you move forward with coaching with me or not. So there's so much value in that time that I encourage people to take advantage of it. I would love to have you.
Awesome. And you also have a Facebook group, which is another alliteration.
Ditch
The
Your
Ditch
Shit
Your Shit
Society.
And a newsletter by the same name. And we'll be sure we put the links in the show notes for people. So, Kate, what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with today?
I would really love for everybody to know that you can have the life and home that you want to have. Whatever limiting belief that you have been living with up to this point that has stopped you from taking action to declutter your home, your mind, your relationships, whatever it is, that limiting belief is not the truth. You can have what you want to have. Yes, it's going to take some work, but you can have it. And please give yourself the gift of taking the time to do that work and give it to yourself.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.